As we begin our study of the inspired sales system, it makes sense for us to start by looking at who our customer is and what is our brand. So, who is our customer? Who do you say? Is it just some random person that's on the street? Is it a particular demographic? So there's a certain age range or uh, a certain demographic when it comes to income. Um, who do you say our customer is? Well, what we would say is our customer is somebody that needs a floor done and has some way to pay for it. That doesn't necessarily mean they have cash. It may be that it's something that they can finance. It may be something that they can use a credit card for. But at the end of the day, we may specifically market or target certain demographics, certain income ranges, or certain neighborhoods, or certain zip codes, or whatever within our designated marketing area. But at the end of the day, that may be who we're targeting, but just about anybody could be our customer. I want to spend a minute talking to you about the customer journey. So, the customer journey is a tool that is used to just sort of think about the cycle of what a customer goes through, what a customer's mentality is as they walk through the buying process. And we start with awareness. And I'm going to go through this relatively quickly because we're really not going to camp out on the customer journey. We're going to spend the bulk of our time talking about the consultation. But if you think about the awareness phase, at some point in time, a customer realizes they have a floor and they want to change it. Now, I know that sounds very, very vague, but that impulse could come from anywhere. It could be that the big box stores are running a lot of ads in a particular area, or maybe they were at a friend's house and they noticed how great a friend's floor looked, or maybe they just looked at their own floor and realized, maybe there's a dog stain or a wine stain or something that's been on the carpet for a very long time, and they really all of a sudden they just have this awareness that they want to do something, which leads to a felt need. And the customer feels this need deeply. I really need to change this floor. Now, of course, we're talking about flooring. This could be, I really need to change the siding on my house, or I want to change my car or whatever. But in the context of floors, it makes a lot of sense to think of a stain or scratches on the hardwood or tiles that have been broken or damaged. Okay, but it doesn't necessarily have to be something that the general public would see as bad. It could be that somebody just bought a new home or just bought a home and they don't like the color of the carpet. And so that becomes a felt need that they just don't like the color. They may love carpet, they may want to go back with carpet, but they really don't like this color. And so they feel this need and immediately they start to reach out. Now, I say immediate. This immediacy could be a matter of days, hours, minutes. It could be a matter of weeks, months, years. But at some point, the customer starts to reach out. Maybe they start paying more attention to advertisements. Maybe they start paying more attention to home shows, or they see the same sign over and over again. There's a billboard that resonates with them, or something on the radio. At some point, that customer makes first contact with Floor Coverings International. And it could come through a digital lead source, like it may come in through the website, it might come in through a Facebook page, it might come in through Angie's List or Thumbtack or 3Ships or one of the other lead aggregators. It might be that they see you at a home show or at a local event. You might even be doing a yard sale, and you've got the Floor Coverings International branded tent up. Whatever it is, at some point that customer makes first contact. For a lot of our customers, that first contact is with our call center. So they come in through some digital means and they end up at the call center, and that becomes the first contact. So these first three boxes, if you will, we sort of think of these first three boxes as being marketing. And that's really where marketing focuses their attention on moving a customer from they're aware that they have something they want to do to actually booking an appointment on the calendar. All right, the next phase of this is consultation. And the consultation phase, this is where we're going to spend the bulk of our time in this series of courses with the Inspired Sales System. This is really about how do you go into a customer's home? How do you run an appointment? How do you do this consultation and help a customer solve their flooring issues? Once the consultation is finished, then the customer says, yes, you've signed a deal. Now it moves into the delivery stage. And when I think of delivery, I'm not thinking about just the physical delivery of the product, but the delivery of all the promises that were made in the home. We're going to remove the old carpet. We're going to move all your furniture out of the way. We're going to put in a brand new hardwood floor. We're going to put all the furniture back and clean up at the end. Okay, those are promises that were made. That's all encompassing in this delivery phase. There's a phase after delivery called confirmation, and a lot of companies skip this phase. This is really where we're going back to make sure that everything was done exactly the way that it was promised. This is where we're confirming with the customer that, yes, we met our promises. We did what we said we were going to do, which leads to residual meaning. So what is residual meaning? This is where 3 months from now, 6 months from now, a year from now, 5 years from now, the customer still has this great feeling of doing business with Floor Coverings International. Now, a lot of people will take the last 3 boxes and say, this really has everything to do with production. The delivery part of the process, the confirmation part of the process, the residual meaning part of the process. Others will, and I think rightly so, draw the box this way and say, yeah, but residual meaning really becomes a marketing thing, because as you maybe do drip email campaigns or every 6 months reach out to previous customers and just make sure everything is okay, that's really a way of staying top of mind with the customer, so that either when they have another project or they have a friend or family member with a project, that you're the one that they're recommending. All right, all that's great. Where we're going to spend the bulk of our time is in the consultation phase. So let's think for just a moment about why people choose to buy. There was a study that was done several years ago, and it analyzed people's buying behaviors. What is it that makes somebody choose to buy from a particular service provider? Whether that's floors, whether that's an automobile, whether that's somebody that's getting new cabinets for their home, whatever it is, there's a reason that people choose to buy and make a buying decision for whatever it was that they were trying to purchase. Okay, the very first reason that people buy, it's not price, it's not the color of the dealership at the automobile dealer, it's none of those things. The number one reason and the most important reason that people make a buying decision is because of the people that they work with. And you can think back in your own history. You've bought many things. Maybe you've bought furniture, maybe you've bought a house, maybe you've bought a car, maybe you've bought home improvement, maybe you bought a phone, I don't know, but at some point you decided that you were going to buy. And the number one reason, statistically, the number one reason that people make the buying decisions that they do is because of the people that they work with. They trusted the person. They felt comfortable that that person knew what they were talking about. That person had credibility. That person showed up on time. That person was dressed nice, or certainly wasn't dressed bad. I would say the same thing about smell. All these reasons that people connect with other people, at the end of the day, people buy from people. Now, I know, yes, there's Amazon and there's all sorts of ways that people buy online today, but especially when people are buying big ticket items like the flooring project, they need to connect with the person. That's why you're here. And that's why it's so important for you to be able to connect with the people that you come in contact with. The number two reason that people buy is because of the company. And when we think of the company, you can lump all of the company reputation things with it, right? Company reviews, word of mouth advertising. I talked to my neighbor that had a great experience with this company. I know some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, there's no way that I would buy from a company just because of the company. Okay, I would point you to all the people that stand outside camping out overnight for Apple to release the next iPhone or the next gadget. They don't even know what it's going to do. They just know they want to be the next one to buy something from Apple. There are people that are absolutely dedicated to a company, and they stick by that company and they stand by that company. Whether it's an Apple, it's a Starbucks, it's a Nike, it's a Ford, it's a Chevy, Dodge, whatever it is, people tend to stick by a particular company if they've had good success with that company in the past, or if other people have told them, people that they trust have told them that, yes, this is a great company. So the number one reason that people choose to buy is because of the people that they interact with. The number two reason that people buy is because of the company. Well, what's the third reason? The product. People fall in love with the product. There are people that make unbelievable purchases just because they fell in love with that particular product. So this is why with Floor Coverings International, it's so important that you've got so many options in the van. You've got over 3,000 samples in the mobile showroom. And so you've got plenty of options to find the perfect product for the customer to fall in love with. So again, the number one reason that people buy is because they fell in love with the people that they were talking with. The second reason is because of the company. The third reason is because of the product. And then finally, we can't get away from price. Now, price doesn't mean that you have to be the cheapest price, but the customer has to believe that the value that you provide is at a fair price for what they're going to spend. At the end of the day, you're trading your service, you're trading your flooring material and the install and the whole white glove service. You're trading all of that for somebody's hard-earned money. And people have to believe that what they're spending their money on, they're getting good value for the money. Again, not necessarily the cheapest, but that they believe that they're getting the right value for what they're spending their money on. Now, when we think about people buying, there are some people in this world that when you meet with them, maybe it's a close friend of yours, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's somebody that's just in a really big hurry and they're just trying to get something done. There are some people that are going to buy from you as long as you're nice and you can flip a price. Now, what do I mean by that? That means that you connected with them, so you took care of the first bullet point. The people part of it was done properly. And when you showed them a price, you showed them a price that they believed the value was there. So you can't be 40 or 50% higher than your competitor. You've got to be within reason, right? But there are people that will buy from you simply because you were nice and you could competently show them a reasonable price for their project. There are other people in this world that it does not matter what you do. You could be as nice as you want. You could be as ugly as you want. You could show them the cheapest price possible. You could show them the most expensive price possible. It does not matter. They are not buying today. Now, maybe that's because I'm not saying they have to be obstinate people. It could be that somebody's building a house. And as part of their build, they're trying to get some budget numbers together. And they're looking at maybe buying a floor from you 6 months or 9 months from now. So right now, they're not in a buying mood. They're not ready to buy, okay? Then there are those people that, you know what, it's not the right day for them. And so they're not going to buy today. All right, so if we break this down, you've got about 20% of the people that are out there that if you can smile and flip a price, you absolutely have a chance of winning that bid, about 20% of the time. There's another group of people way over here that it doesn't matter what you do, you're not selling them today and probably not in the short term, and that's about 20%. Okay, what about the 60% in the middle? Well, we really have to become the customer's choice, right? We're trying to influence this 60% of the people. Let me ask you a question. Do you need a sales system? Like, I need a structured process where I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to warm up. I've got this. I've got several tactics that I can pull out and use. For this 20% of the people, do I need a sales system? Well, no, you really don't. Like I said, if you can walk in and you can be nice and flip a price, you're going to win this job. Okay. So you don't really need a sales system for this group. Now, the tricky part is you don't know who that group is, but that's a story for another day. The 20% of people that are simply not buying today, is your sales system going to change this? No, it isn't. So the reality is that I'm not going to design my sales system. You're not going to design your sales process around trying to get this 20%. And you don't need to do it for this 20%. The reason you have a sales system and the reason you practice your sales system and the reason you work on sales is for this 60%. It's the 60% in the middle that you're trying to win, right? This is where the battleground is. This is where it is that you're trying to really influence people and you're really trying to help people or help solve people's flooring problems so that they'll decide to buy from you. So theoretically, you could get to an 80% close rate. I do know design associates that have a 70% close rate. So they're just about right here, okay? The trick is, if you're at 20 and you think everything's lovely because everybody you sell to absolutely loves you, yeah, you know what? If you're nice and can flip a price, you're going to land about 20%. So a 20% close rate it's not spectacular. Your goal really should be to be at a 50% close rate, excuse me, a 50% close rate or higher. And you know what? The 20% that are over here, it's just not going to work for them no matter what you do. So we're not going to get stressed out about these people. We're not going to worry about these people. We're going to be nice to them. We're going to be professional. We're going to give them a great brand experience. Who knows? Maybe 6 or 9 months from now, they'll come back to us. But at the end of the day, this 60% is the reason that we have a sales system and the reason that we have to work to get the customer to choose us. So how do we become the customer's choice? Well, a lot of it has to do with our brand. Okay, so I'm going to ask you this question. What is a brand? Well, when you think about a brand, maybe Starbucks comes to mind. Maybe Samsung comes to mind. Maybe Dodge comes to mind. Maybe Nike comes to mind. What is a brand? Well, a brand is really a set of promises. And if you think about it, Chick-fil-A, what is their brand? Yes, they've got a cow that can't spell, but really what Chick-fil-A is all about is customer service. That's why every person that works at Chick-fil-A is taught to say, my pleasure. So you thank somebody and say, my pleasure. Now, maybe you've had a bad experience at a Chick-fil-A, but more than likely, that's few and far between, and extremely rare. Most of the time, people will pay extra to go to a Chick-fil-A because they know they're going to get a consistent customer service experience that they're simply not going to get at a McDonald's or a Wendy's or a Burger King. All right, so what is our brand? What are our promises? Well, I'm going to start with our vision, and our vision is a two-part vision. The first part of our vision is to provide the best in-home flooring experience in North America. So when we compare ourselves to other flooring companies that are out there, at least on a regional level, I know there's thousands and thousands of local mom and pops that we simply can never compare ourselves to on a national level. But at least when you look regionally, we are currently, and have been for several years, rated #1 in customer satisfaction. That's something to be screamed from the rooftops. We are absolutely the best in-home flooring experience. And it's not because we say we are. If you look at our Net Promoter Scores, our NPS scores, which we'll go into later, you go look at our NPS scores, look at our online reviews, look at the number of stars that people leave us on our online reviews. It is absolutely unheard of in a construction industry. And face it, you're doing construction inside people's homes. It is absolutely unheard of for a company to be at a 4.8 stars out of 5. It's unheard of. And yet that's exactly where we are, and we stay there. And well, I say we stay there. Last year we were at 4.7, so we keep moving up. The second part of our vision is to have at least 250 franchisees that average $2 million a year in sales. You're a big piece of this. As this company grows, as we continue to grow and do more, we're seeing more and more franchisees that are getting to that $2 million mark, to the point that now when we look at that $2 million mark, we really consider that $2 million mark as a floor. That is the starting point for a successful franchise. Beyond that, who knows, 10 million, 20 million, there is no ceiling. But I would say that in order to make this business really successful as a franchise owner, you need to think of the $2 million mark not as an end goal, but that's really where the starting point is. You need to get to the $2 million mark fast. And for design associates that are watching this, you are absolutely supporting this vision, and this helps you in a tremendous way. If you know that we are the #1 rated flooring store in North America, and that we are big enough for people to recognize the brand and for people to know who you are, it makes your job in sales much, much easier. So what are our promises as a brand? What are our values? First of all, deliver what you promise. Now, that might be a small thing. Like if I tell somebody, I'll send you an email this week. Well, yes, I'm going to send that email this week. It's a small promise. I promise you that I'm going to send you the proposal. It also means that when I promise that we're going to install a particular floor, that's what we're going to do. And when I promise that I'm not happy until you're happy, that's a promise that I'm going to keep. The second piece is to respect the individual. Now, I know that there's you're going to drive up to houses of all sorts. You're going to drive up to a $15 million house, and the next day you might drive up to a small single-wide trailer in the middle of a mobile home park. Each individual deserves to be treated with respect, and each individual needs to be seen as a person with the legitimate need that you're there to solve. not based on their wallet or any other demographics. You really need to respect the individual for who they are. Have pride in what you do. You know, one of the nice things about working for the #1 rated home improvement company, or the #1 rated flooring company in North America, is that if I wear a Floor Coverings International shirt out in public, not necessarily even in my territory, but anywhere, I feel good that if somebody recognizes the brand, that they're going to see me in a positive light. I should have pride in what I do and know that the rest of the organization has my back. If I ever get if you ever get to a point where you don't feel comfortable wearing a Floor Coverings International shirt out in public, there's a problem, and it's a problem that needs to be dealt with. The fourth one here, be open-minded to possibilities and practice continuous improvement. I will tell you that continuous improvement is not a small thing at Floor Coverings International. When we make changes, we make big changes and really, really fast. There's nothing that's sacred. The reality is that we are absolutely going to continue to improve this company, and you are part of that improvement as you continue to work and grow your business and grow your territory. This is unbelievable. It's a great time to be in Floor Coverings International. And finally, engage in the community and make it fun. So who is your community? Well, your community obviously is your geographic area around you, your local marketing area, but it's also the other franchisees that are around the country, the other design associates that are around the country. When you have an opportunity to get together for events like a convention or like training events, it is a great opportunity for you to network to the other design associates and other franchisees in the network and be able to leverage one another's experience and have a good time with one another. We are very much a work hard, play hard company. We absolutely do work hard, but we absolutely have a great time together. So I'm looking forward to working with you on your journey, and best of luck. Thank you for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.